Hello everyone, what's up? Prince 1215 here with another movie review. Today we are taking a look at Jurassic World Rebirth, the latest in the Jurassic Park franchise and the fourth now Jurassic World film. So yeah, it's another big dinosaur movie. I like these. I like these a lot. Um, I've never really talked about Jurassic Park or Jurassic World too much on my channel. It's never even been in a dedicated video. I don't even think. I think the most I've talked about any of these movies is like I talked about it on a live stream. I think I talked about Fallen Kingdom on a live stream a couple years ago when that movie was out. And I say a couple years ago. That's more than a couple years ago. That's 2018. It's a while ago now. Um, so it's been a minute. But yeah, no, I like the Jurassic Park franchise. And so I'm always up for another one of these. Even though they're of varying qualities. So yeah, I'll just very quickly run through what I think of each of them. The first one obviously is a Spielberg classic. It's hard to beat the original Jurassic Park. Very good. Lost World is fine. I don't hate it. I don't really have this rage for it that some people seem to. It's nowhere near as good as the first, but I like it fine. I think it's got a lot of good moments in it. Um, the cliff scene, for as over the top as it is cool. Two T-Rexes for the price of two and a half. The baby for the price of one. I think "Don't go into the long grass" is actually kind of a somewhat iconic quote. I think that seeing the raptors go through the grass is just really cool. T-Rex rampages San Diego, cool. So I don't really hate it. Jurassic Park 3, not good. The guilty pleasure is not the right word. I don't mind watching that movie, but is it good? Not in the slightest. But it does have two moments that make me laugh uncontrollably every time, which is the Alan in the airplane. That's just funny, to me anyway. And then of course the satellite phone and the Spinosaurus. That's just good. Dee 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 dee. And then it's like Nash had it when he dee 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 dee. It's like that's fun. I like that. Um, Jurassic Park 3 is one of those movies you just watch when you have 90 minutes to kill. It's a Saturday and you don't really feel like doing too much anything else. You don't even really want to commit to paying attention to the movie that closely. That's what Jurassic Park 3 is. And I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that, but it did, it was bad enough it did kill the franchise for like 14 years, which is kind of funny to think about. But speaking of 14 years later, we got Jurassic World. I think Jurassic World, the original from 2015, it's weird to say original, but you know what I mean. I think Jurassic World's probably the second best movie in the franchise, and that includes Rebirth. Because World, I think, actually succeeds at being the legacy sequel, where a lot of other legacy sequels we've gotten before and since kind of missed the mark. Because 2015 was a big year for these types of movies because we got Jurassic World and we got Force Awakens. I think Jurassic World really succeeds where Force Awakens fails, mostly because I think the Star Wars universe, the Star Wars world is just a bigger one than the Jurassic one. Because it's like when you go to watch a Jurassic Park movie, you know what you're in for. You know to expect kind of the same general plot, for lack of a better word. It's always kind of and this is very reductive, I know, but it's always kind of the same themes of corporate people are bad, they're always going to get eaten, they're always trying to meddle with nature, and so the dinosaurs are going to escape and eat the bad guys, and our heroes are going to run away and live. So it's like, so you kind of know what to expect from every Jurassic movie at this point. Star Wars, while it does cover the same themes and stuff, generally in general, it's like light versus dark, good and evil, etc. Each film does have its own kind of little other thing going on. Like A New Hope is very, black and white, good versus evil, but then Empire Strikes Back is, a little more thinky and a little more morally gray is not the right word, but it's a little more, it's a little more, harder to digest. And then Return of the Jedi really mixes up some more stuff with the Vader versus Luke conflict. And then of course the prequels just get all sorts of manner of morally gray with things going on. Like you have your staunch heroes like Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan, but then your lead protagonist is the man who will become Darth Vader. And so it's like you're wanting to root for him to be good, but you know that's not how it's going to turn out. And then the sequels have their own things going on. So with Star Wars, there's just, I think, more to expect from a Star Wars film. And it covers more genres because it's a western, it's a wizard film, it's an epic, it's a fairy tale, it's all these different things. It's a political thriller with Andor. It can and is all these different things simultaneously. So for episode 7 to just kind of be a rehash of A New Hope again, I think is kind of it's been argued to death. It's safe. It's boring. I wish episode 7 had kind of turned out in a different way. But Jurassic World, kind of building from there, Jurassic World, I think, actually succeeds on this front because kind of just being a retread of Jurassic Park felt right for this franchise because that's really all this franchise does to a degree. So it's like, it's like, hey, what if they actually completed the park, and how many horrible ways can that go wrong? That I'm like, yep, that sounds right up my alley for what this franchise is. I'm down with this. So showing the park actually done, and of course it all going wrong, and the Indominus Rex and the idea of a genetically altered dinosaur, and this weird hybrid monster killer. For Jurassic World, very smart, great decision. It's this theme park monster taking out the other dinosaurs and people, and so when the movie ended, it's one of the few times a movie has ended, I've gone, it's over. I wanted more of that. It's they always say leave the audience wanting more. Because most of the time when you go see a movie, you either go, that was a satisfying conclusion to the movie. It's like, oh, that movie was horrible. It's very rare that you go, that was a really good movie, and I really want more, like, right now. It's like, something like Avengers Infinity War, that's kind of one of those. It's like, well, I want more right now because of the obvious cliffhanger. But Jurassic World has a very satisfying conclusion, but at the end of it, you're kind of also like, ooh, I wish that was a little longer. I wanted just a little bit more of that. So yeah, really, really like Jurassic World. Fallen Kingdom, like less. I've actually only seen it once, which I think is the least amount of times I've seen any of these movies, now that I'm thinking about it. Because I've seen Lost World 2 or 3 times, Jurassic Park 3 2 or 3 times. I don't know how many times I've seen Park and World. But so Fallen Kingdom, I feel like Fallen Kingdom is stuck being 2 different movies, and it suffers because of that, and I kind of wish they had chosen one direction to go in, because the first half is the Lost World Jurassic World, as opposed to the Lost World Jurassic Park. And then the second half of the movie is Killer Dinosaurs in a Haunted House. And I really like Killer Dinosaurs in a Haunted House. I think that's great. It just gets bogged down with auctions, and we're stuck on a boat for a little while, which is a little weird. But I also like running away from dinosaurs on an island that's melting down because of an active volcano. That's actually cool too, and I actually like that. But it's like 2 different movies that feel at odds with one another. So yeah, the final product is not great, but there's still things I like about it. So it's okay. I think Fallen Kingdom's okay. It's definitely a huge step down from Park and World for me. But it's like I don't mind. I didn't hate it, and it's one of those I want to go back and I want to watch it again. Like I said, I've only seen it the one time when it was out in theaters in 2018. But one thing I've done, while I've only seen the movie once, I've listened to the score. I don't know how many times, because Michael Giacchino was on something when he made that score, because that score is amazing. It's arguably my favorite score in the franchise, which is weird to say, because the original is John Williams, and John Williams is amazing. But there's something about that when, like, the Indoraptor's crawling around on the roof in the rain, and it roars at the moon hidden behind the clouds, and like the Gothic choir is screaming and the whole orchestra is just blasting away. I'm like, this is so awesome. I love this so much. Because like I said, I like Killer Dinosaurs in a Haunted House. This is a fun concept. I enjoy this. So so the score, love listening to the score. Only seen the movie once. It's fine. It's mid. Dominion. Oh boy, Dominion. Do I have some complicated opinions on Dominion? Because buried inside this very lackluster of a movie, I think is a really interesting movie that I wanted it to have absolutely nothing to do with dinosaurs. But then you've got dinosaurs put on top of it, and then you've got, and so it feels like even more than Fallen Kingdom. I feel like Dominion is kind of a movie being pulled in two different directions, and one side kind of wins out more than the other one, and I kind of wanted the other opposing end to win more, because my argument for Dominion is I kind of wish it was just called Dominion and left Jurassic World out of the title, because, and it's like, obviously the poster's going to have the dinosaurs and the characters on it, so it's like you don't it's the same argument I have for Avengers Infinity War. I don't think Infinity War is an Avengers movie. The Avengers are never assembled. Thanos wins. It's a Thanos movie. And so I think if you just called that movie Infinity War and put all the Avengers and Thanos on the poster, people would have gotten the idea. And I don't know, maybe to be cute, made the A in War the Avengers A. But anyway, now Endgame, now that's an Avengers movie, because the Avengers are assembled in that movie and they win. It's their movie. They are the main characters. But Infinity War, that's Thanos' movie, etc. So I feel the same way about Dominion, where I don't think calling it Jurassic World is really... It's set the, and it's weird. Dropping the Avengers title from Infinity War, I think it makes way more sense for Infinity War than it does for Jurassic World Dominion. But I still kind of go, I think that would have been a bold move and could have worked, because the thing of this movie that everyone hated, the clone plot and the genetic stuff and all that, everyone kind of was like, this, we don't like this. That's actually I'm the reverse. I actually did like that stuff, and the dinosaur stuff I kind of could have cared less about for most of it, because Dominion, the nugget of story I saw in Dominion of carrying forward the genetics run rampant from, it felt very true to the original Jurassic Park novel from Michael Crichton, which I read in high school, and it's amazing. And it's one of Jurassic Park's one of those funny adaptations where the book and the movie are, technically the same thing, but they're so vastly different from one another. It's like, but it's not like something like Aragon. I think it's Aragon, where it's like the movie is like a blight on the franchise, and no one, and people like pretend it doesn't exist. But Jurassic Park itself is so good as a movie that you can separate it from the book and kind of treat them as two separate things and put them both on an equal footing. Like, these things are supposed to be the same, but they're different. But that's okay, because they're both amazing. And so all the genetics stuff and the cloning and the human clone and the giant cicadas or whatever, the locusts, I was actually okay with all that stuff, because it felt like the natural continuation to what was going on in the original Jurassic Park novel, and it felt really more of that sci-fi route that the book really kind of is, because the book is less. There are really grisly dinosaur deaths and action and tense scenes in that book, but a lot of that book is also charts and graphs and showing what computer monitors are saying, and kind of the silent horror you get from looking at the statistics. Because in the book, there's this really great moment where they realize that the computers have been misprogrammed, where it's like, well, we know this is how many dinosaurs were in the park. It's like, well, hold on, no, you've got a rounding error, or a math error, where it's like the computer's only programmed to say what the maximum number of dinosaurs are. So if you think that there's only 10 maximum velociraptors, the computer's going to say that there's only 10 maximum velociraptors. But if you change how many maximum possible dinosaurs there are, let's just say 100, how many velociraptors are actually in the park? Oh, there's 58. There's 58 velociraptors in this park right now, and we thought there was only 10. This is a huge problem. And kind of that slow, horrifying realization of you've never had control. You've only had the illusion of control, more than just the one T-Rex breaking. I think that's awesome. And then like the talk of was like, woo, we could make hybrids, and there's all that stuff that Woo and Hammond and Book Hammond were getting up to and everything. I felt like in Dominion they really wanted to scratch that itch and really talk about that subject and really go more in on that. But they were also kind of shoehorned in, not shoehorned. They were, they were forced into having to wrap up the dinosaur plot. And so it's like and that's why I wish the movie was just called Dominion. And yes, it's the Jurassic Park universe, it's the Jurassic World universe. The dinosaurs are loose, they are out there, but they are not the most important thing in this movie. They are the background. They are, they're there. They get mentioned occasionally. Yeah, you get chased by a couple dinosaurs, but like the dinosaurs aren't the main plot. And see, I'm saying these things, and you're probably saying, "Oh, this sounds exactly like the movie we got." It's like, and to a degree, it is, but the part that I felt was, and here's where the word shoehorn comes in, is I felt like Blue and Beta. That stuff I felt shoehorned. That's the stuff I felt was shoehorned. I wish that like they didn't do. I wish that Blue wasn't in it. Beta didn't need to be a thing. Bringing back, as nice as it was to see them bringing back Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler and Dr. Malcolm, really didn't, other than just the kind of, oh, this is neat, these characters are back. Other than that, it really didn't do anything for me, and I kind of wish it was just Claire and Owen going after their adopted daughter and her really, because I love the scene where she's watching the video of quote unquote herself, her mother, doing all the lab results and saying, I'm growing myself in my womb, I'm cloning myself. This is not like an ethical science experiment at all, but I'm doing it anyway. Ha! It's I loved all that. And then it's like, oh, now we got to have this pointless T-Rex fight with the Gigantosaurus or whatever, who's really only here just to have a dinosaur bad guy, because the last two movies have had dinosaur bad guys in it, and then Rexy has to have her moment to be the hero. That stuff felt so shoehorned in to me, and I'm like, I wish you'd just focused more on the killer locust. And it's like, well, and you could have done other things other than just the killer locust. In the killer locust, it's not like the locusts were even that dangerous to an actual person in terms of physical threat. It was the eating the crops that was the dangerous thing. So I kind of wish that, they had done, like, have saber-toothed tigers in there. That'd be cool. It's like, how instead of being chased by like the Pyroraptor or whatever the feathered raptor was, have it be, it's like they go to the Biosyn compound and like they've got guard saber-toothed tigers or something. That'd be dope. That'd be awesome. I'd love that. Just really fully explore that hey, the genetic is like at the end of Fallen Kingdom, as Malcolm's saying it in front of Congress or whatever, it's like genetic power has been unleashed, and it's like really go crazy, show woolly mammoths and the dodo bird and all these other things that Biosyn's managed to bring back and they're totally exploiting and stuff, and then like show a room where they've got all these humans in tanks. Like they're now they're experimenting on humans and they're trying to clone humans and really show how crazy Dotson's gone. It's like that's kind of what I wish they had pushed more in Dominion, and why I wish it could have just been Dominion instead of Jurassic World Dominion. But that's the thing, is that the fact that it was Jurassic World Dominion, they had to really make sure that the dinosaurs were the focus of it, and I'm like, I feel like you could have moved past that for this movie, and really, so it's like, so yeah, like I said, I've got complicated feelings on Dominion. I don't think it's a good movie, but I think there's nuggets of a really good movie in there that I don't think a lot of people would have liked, because they probably would have been sold a dinosaur movie and they wouldn't have gotten a dinosaur movie, and that's kind of why a lot of people didn't like it to begin with, because it was too split between trying to be the two things. So yeah, that is my quick 20 minutes of quickness feelings on the Jurassic Park franchise. So now we can move on to today's subject, which is Jurassic World Dominion. Sorry, I was just saying that. Jurassic World Rebirth, which is a terrible title. I'm sorry, that's a terrible title for this movie, because there's no... I don't know why they called it Rebirth, other than the fact that, they said that Dominion was the end of the Jurassic saga or whatever. And then it's like, nah, there's another one. So the franchise is reborn. Oh, and it's a new lease on life. Oh, I feel like that's the only reason this movie's called Rebirth. because it's not even like it's so obviously I'm going full spoilers here. So what I really going into this movie, what I really thought was going to happen, because that's kind of the way all these movies operate, is I really thought that at the beginning of the third act, the corporate guy, whose name I can't remember in this movie because there's always just a corporate guy, and this is the corporate guy in this one. The corporate guy would have given up the jig and gone, okay, you got me. We're not actually trying to save humanity. I wanted more dinosaur DNA so I could clone more genetic monstrosities. You know, sorry, I lied. I'm the corporate guy. Shocker. I know, I lied. I kind of thought that's the way the movie was going. So that's kind of where I thought, and that's why I thought the movie was called Rebirth. Is that dinosaur cloning is outlawed and everything, and it's like no one can do it because there's all these dinosaurs all over the place. And then that's part of why this mission was so secretive, is that it's like this one company is trying to get it back on track and create their own dinosaurs to sell and stuff, which would have been a tired plot point, but I think it makes sense in the world that's been set up and created here. But that's not the direction they went, which I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised by, but at the same time annoyed, because now the title Rebirth I don't think makes any sense whatsoever. What's being reborn in this movie? I don't know. So yeah, but no, the fact that they actually were just trying to get basically blood so they could study giant hearts to help solve cardiovascular disease. Okay, that's good. I like that. That wasn't as predictable. The fact that it was that straightforward, I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this. Because when they said that's what it was and all the lead up to the release of the movie, I'm like, that's another reason why I was so suspicious and I thought there was going to be that twist, and they were hiding. It's like, no, that's too simple. There's always a twist about it's got to be about the dinosaur DNA, and they're trying to clone more dinosaurs. Like, oh no, they really did just want the blood, so they could sell it and solve cardiovascular disease. And now instead of selling it, and making millions, Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey are just going to open source it and help save humanity. That's actually really wholesome. I really like that. Okay, I'm good with this. So yeah, the excuse for getting on the island I thought was fine. I do think it's a teensy bit weird. There is yet another island that we've not heard of before that's had dinosaur cloning on it. The first time they did it with Isla Sorna, it's like, okay, you know what? That totally makes sense. The park was the park, and then as Hammond says in Lost World, Site B was the factory floor. That's fine. That works as an explanation. But now there's like suddenly a third island. Well, I get, actually, now that I say it, maybe it's not that weird, because the explanation is like, because they say in Fallen Kingdom that Site B was cleared and shut down, like there's not dinosaurs on the island anymore, because presumably, I guess they probably scooped a bunch of them up and put them in Jurassic World. And all the stuff there was too run down and destroyed to really salvage, most likely. So I guess it does make sense that yeah, they would want another island to do more research on and use as the factory floor, and so to speak, and all the other experiments, and then that's where they did a lot of their dark experiments and stuff. So I guess it does make sense. Never mind. I'm going to rescind that as a complaint. And it wasn't really going to be, it was really going to be more of a nitpick anyway, but I think it makes sense. It's fine. Now I think it's kind of far away, but I guess it's probably far away from prying eyes, because it's like, it's not near Costa Rica, I don't think. It's somewhere else. But anyway, so yeah, the excuse to get on the island, the fact that there is another island, that all tracks. I think that's good. I really like the characters in this movie. The fact that this is a band of mercenaries who in these movies are typically kind of one note, we're all just pretty much evil and in it for the money, and we're going to get eaten in the end, and that, so you're not going to feel sad when we get eaten in the end. It's like, that's typically how these characters have gone in all these other movies. You see them in Fallen Kingdom, you see them in Lost World. Dennis Nedry is that type to a lesser extent. He's industrial espionage and stuff. I was about to say sabotage, which there is some of that too, because he shuts down all the fences like a moron. So it's like, so yeah, they're in kind of a lot of these movies. I guess really the only one that doesn't have like straight up evil mercenary types is maybe 3. And that's just because most of them get eaten so quickly. So and it's like, it just seems like that they're just like stupid morons who saw a big fat paycheck and it's like, yeah, we'll fly to an island of dinosaurs. Okay. So they were more just idiots than anything. Um, but these guys in this movie, I actually really liked the fact that they actually seemed like a good bunch. It's like, they knew that what they were doing was dangerous, but they were actually prepared because the mercenaries in 3 were not prepared at all. It's like I love the line. It's like, I've never been on this island. It's like, well, you wrote that book. It's like, no, this is site B. I was on Jurassic Park, site A. It's like, I've never been on this island. And then like the other mercenaries like, oh, there's 2 islands. It's like, dude, did you not read the news? When the T-Rex broke out in San Diego, it's like, did you not read the news? So yeah, those guys are just idiots. But these guys actually are well trained. They seem to know what they're doing. Now it still doesn't go well for them, obviously, because that's the way these movies have to go. But and I did like that they actually seemed like a good bunch, other than the one guy that gets eaten by the Spinosaurus pretty early. Because he's kind of like, forget the family, let's just get the money and run. He's like, so the fact that he was the first one to get axed, yeah, that's your comeuppance for being a jerk, and just being too greedy. But then the other 2 guys, like the girl and the French guy, I felt really bad for. Because yeah, they wanted the money, but it didn't seem like that. But they were all like, oh no, this poor family, let's help them as much as possible, and everything. And it's like and Kincaid, I liked him too, because it's like, looking at the trailers, he seems kind of like he's going to be this smarmy pirate captain type, or at least that's the way I read it in the trailers. But he kind of really reminds me of Captain What's His Face in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where again he gives the appearance of this smarmy pirate character, and I don't think I can trust this guy. It's like, oh no, you can trust him all the way to the bank. This guy has a heart of gold, and he's just trying to make a living, and he's a total softy at heart. And I'm like, you know what? I really like that. I really like that. Kincaid is maybe in my top 5 Jurassic Park characters now of all time. It's like, you know what? I really like this guy. He's just a cool guy. Who he's like, who just kind of like likes everyone and just wants to do the right thing. And it's like, I was just like I said, after watching the trailer, I just kind of had a vibe about him from the trailer, and I suppose they probably edited the trailer that way purposefully. So then when you watch the movie, it's like, oh no, he's actually a stand-up individual. All right, I like that. So, because there's enough, because you get enough smarmy, this guy obviously can't be trusted vibes from Mr. Business Suit in this movie, who again, I can't remember the character's name, but it's like, well, and it's kind of a weird name too. So it's like the fact that I can't remember it is who it's. He gets eaten in the end. Who cares about his name? So yeah, you get enough. Can't trust this guy from him. Scarlett Johansson, I really liked her character. Again, the characters are all pretty simple in this movie. There's not really a whole lot of depth or nuance to them, but for the type of movie they're in, I think that was really kind of perfect. And you can say that for most of the characters, and I didn't really have a problem in that regard with any of the characters, with the exception of, and this is the one kind of thing I'm like, that could have maybe been done better. I would have preferred a little bit more, even if it's predictable, just a little bit more with this, is the boyfriend character of the eldest daughter of the boat family. The boyfriend, I kept waiting for him to get eaten because he was kind of too annoying to survive. And so I'm like, okay, he's been surviving a long time, so surely he's got to have some sort of like heroic redeeming moment. I guess he actually gets that early on when he jumps off the boat to save the eldest daughter. So I guess that's really it. And then it's like you write him off early because he's like, oh, I'm too lazy to have a turn on the wheel on the boat and blah blah blah. I'm just here to hang out with my girlfriend in swimsuits and blah blah blah. And you get that vibe from him immediately. But then when push comes to shove, he actually did jump in the water to go save her, even though there's killer dinosaurs everywhere. So it's like, I guess he has his redeeming. I guess we're just doing things out of order. He had his redeeming moment early on, and that justifies his continued survival because it's like, here's his reward for being a good individual. Granted, that doesn't always work out so well in these movies, because again, see the boat girl and French guy from Kincaid's boat. I don't know why it's like the names in this movie just aren't really that memorable. Except for Kincaid and Dr. Loomis. For some reason, I remembered those names really well, but then like everyone else, I'm like, you're Scarlett Johansson. Sorry. I've seen you as Black Widow too many times for you to be anyone other than just Scarlett Johansson. And your character here is kind of Black Widow-esque anyway. So, because you're a military Black Ops type person. So it's close enough. So I didn't really care for the boyfriend character. The fact that he really kind of seemed pointless to the plot after a long while, and he was just there to scream and survive. It's like, okay, I guess. I did really like the dad character. I think the guy playing him did a really good job. I think it's weird how his foot didn't seem to bother him after about halfway through the movie. It seemed like he was able to run and scurry and stuff pretty easily after it seemed like his leg got pretty messed up, but whatever. It's like there's Claire Deering outran a T-Rex in heels. So it's like, I think there's more unbelievable things in these movies than that. I love the dinosaurs in this movie. Something I just loved about this movie compared to like the last two is just that this was a back to basics. We're just going to put people on an island and have a couple of them get eaten and have them run around and escape monsters. It's like, and then it's like, and you will have a nice cute scene of the dinosaurs with the long necks and everything. It's like, there is still a moment to wow you. Because when they started playing the da 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 da, I was kind of thinking, okay, I feel like this is a little forced here. This is a little too obvious callbackness. But then the camera pans and you see that there is literally a giant herd of them. Like there's probably 40, 50 of these things, and they're gigantic. It's something that Gareth Edwards, who's the same director as Rogue One and Godzilla 2014, something he's really good at is scale, is showcasing scale. And so when they said that he was going to be directing this movie, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So even if the plot's stupid, it's still going to be visually a good movie because he knows how to do scale really well. And yeah, sure enough, it's like the camera pans out and you see that big herd and how far the herd goes. You may not even see the end of it. Like it may keep going past the sunlight. It's like, that's beautiful. That's actually really like whimsical. Like I actually felt the magnificence of the moment. I'm like, okay, no, playing the Jurassic Park theme here is justified because you've really shown me something wonderful here, showing the giant crowd of dinosaurs, giant herd of dinosaurs, the giant herd of giant dinosaurs, and proving that life finds a way. There it is. So yeah, I really liked that. I'm glad they showcased. I'm also glad they showcased a couple other different dinosaurs that we don't always get to see, like the Quetzalcoatlus or whatever the big bird one was that wasn't a pterodactyl. The Quetzalcoatlus, again, like I said, whatever that one is. Because that's what I've seen and heard of, and like seen the pictures of, like, this was the biggest flying dinosaur of all time and one of the biggest flying anythings in all of Earth history. And like to actually get to see it in action, like I think it was maybe in Dominion a little bit. I think it maybe attacked the plane, but it's like, that was I felt like that was kind of a short appearance. This time got a little bit more of it's like up close and personal, and like eating the poor French guy. I was like, oh no, not the poor god. And there he goes down the throat, and like the legs are sticking out of the beak, and it's like, oh no, oh poor guy, you didn't deserve that. Oh no, poor guy. I felt bad for him. So yeah, that was cool. I didn't mind the introduction of, say, the Mutodons, the flying velociraptors, basically. I know some people online have really gotten they're really upset by the fact that the velociraptors were quote unquote wasted in this movie, just on the kind of shadowy background appearance as the Mutodon pounces on them. But haven't we seen enough? I'm sorry, I love velociraptors in these movies. I think they're cool, but haven't we kind of seen enough of them at this point? And velociraptor types, Because I feel like in Dominion there was like four different types of velociraptors. Like there was the Pyroraptor or whatever that had all the feathers. There were the whatever smaller raptors that were like dogs in cages that were sprinters and that were running around after Owen on the motorcycle. It's that was going back to Dominion. That was actually a cool scene. I did like that scene. So and then there was like some other raptor at some point. So it's like I feel like we've kind of had our fill on raptors in these movies. So for this movie's raptors to have wings and fly, I'm like, okay, that works for me. It's different. It's new. It's interesting. You're changing it up a little while also doing the same thing. You're giving me a little bit of variety with my dinosaurs here, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I just so I've actually kind of spent more time more time talking about my thoughts on the franchise as a whole more than the actual movie, but I don't really know if I have too much to say about the movie because I really just thought it was fine. I certainly liked it, and I feel like it's a more solid put together movie than the last two because this doesn't feel like two different movies being pulled in opposite directions. But nor did I really think it was really up there. I was like, oh no, this was fantastic. It was solid. It was solid. It was good. It was enjoyable. There were moments where I was going because the dinosaurs were doing chompy bitey things. There were some really good gross moments. I think like showing the animal carcass next to the T-Rex lair and all and the guts all spilled out and the flies flying all over it as the daughter was trying to like get the raft. Like I thought that it's like stuff like that I thought was good. I really liked that they included some stuff like that. It was very because I feel like Fallen Kingdom and Dominion kind of lacked, and even Jurassic World I feel like kind of lacked some of those. Man, not no. I'm not gonna say Jurassic World because Jurassic World does have the at a Apatosaurus scene where they realize the Indominus is just killing to kill and isn't eating her kills, and so it's just killing for sport basically. Um, so that I think that works. But I don't know. Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were like so focused on plot, move the plot forward, that it didn't really have any like dinosaurs are animals and it's like here's just facts about the animal kingdom. It's like yeah, there's going to be carcasses and it's like even digging around for the satellite phone and the giant pile of Spinosaurus dung in 3 I feel like was good on that. And of course you get to see all the herds and Lost World and stuff. So yeah, the last two I don't think really did such a great job at showcasing the dinosaurs as animals that well. They were more just like again theme park monsters. So showcasing them as animals more in this one I was appreciative of. So I did enjoy that. I will say, I think I was a little let down by the river raft scene. I don't really think that was granted because the river raft scene is something that I feel like some people have been wanting to see in one of these movies for a while. Because of course the river raft scene is taken from the original Jurassic Park novel, where Grant and Lex and Tim are having to raft away down a river away from a T-Rex that's chasing them. And people have been wanting to see that on film for a while. And like they couldn't work it into the original, and it's just somehow after 6 movies they weren't able to work it in. So here on the 7th now they finally found a way to work it in, and it was fine, kind of like the movie itself. It was now the movie's it was fine, like the movie itself. It was fine. I didn't really. I don't know. I feel like it was too short because I don't really remember of all the things in the Jurassic Park novel, in the original book, I never really the river raft scene never really stood out to me. It was other moments in the book that really stood out to me, like the aforementioned figuring out how many dinosaurs were actually on the island scene. So the river raft scene never really stayed with me that much. but people have kind of built it up and hyped it up. It's like, oh, this is one of the most tense moments in all of Jurassic Park history, and they have not put it in film yet because it'd be too scary. Um, and so they did it here, and I was kind of like, all right, let's see what you give me, and it was like, oh, I thought it was fine, it was good, I guess. It's like it was tense at moments. Again, I think it was a really good showcase of the dinosaurs as animals because the T-Rex just kind of toying with the boat and like being smart enough to deliberately and like maybe it didn't realize that the boat was a boat, but it realized that there were smaller creatures in the boat or on the creature, whatever it perceived the boat to be, the raft to be. And so like knocking them off and then forcing them down the rapids and kind of being in that choke point where it's like, hey, here's where I can, if I'm quick enough, I can snatch them up. That was really cool. That was really great. I loved seeing that. And like, diving in the water and coming up and knocking them all off and then getting up on the bank and, and standing there and trying to bite them as they're going down, going down the rapids and like getting its head stuck between the rocks, trying to bite them and eat them up and everything. It's like that, like I said, it was good, but it didn't, I feel like I really kind of wish it had lasted longer because I kind of wish that they made it seem like that they escaped the T-Rex. Like you have this tense scene and they ruined it in the trailers. So it's not like it's like people could, if you've seen at least one of the trailers, you could expect some of what was to come. So it's like, the T-Rex is asleep. It rolls over and it starts getting a drink of water. I think what would have been more effective is if instead of immediately, it's like they get in the raft and they start going away. Instead of immediately showing the T-Rex chasing after them, what I think would have been cool is if it makes it like the family begins to think that they got away. Like you see the T-Rex disappear into the distance. And it's like, over the ridge, they go down the rapids or something. And then they're like, okay, we escaped the T-Rex. Good. And they think they're safe. And then like they just start to paddle and then do like an overhead shot of them paddling through the river. And then you just see this dark shape underwater. And then you realize, oh shoot, it's the T-Rex. It can swim. And then suddenly it bursts and they're mid conversation. Okay, we keep following this river. We'll probably find the village by boom, T-Rex up and they're in the water. It's like they had no time to prepare. They thought they were safe, but sudden T-Rex out of nowhere. And it's like it was baiting you. It was letting you think that you had escaped and all that. It's like I think that would have been a better suspense builder. And it would have hopefully, maybe allowed the scene to go on a little bit longer. Because I just thought it's like, for all the hype that people have built up around, oh, it's the river raft scene. It's the river raft scene. I was just kind of like, yeah, it was okay. So, but just not to say it was bad. I think it's like especially having Isabel it's her name, I remember, but having Isabel trapped under the raft, just like that was pretty tense. And then it's like, you knew the little girl was going to be okay. They don't kill off the kids in these movies. It's like, they're going to be okay. I mean, for Pete's sake, they have an entire animated Netflix series about kids stuck on a dinosaur island. And they somehow never get eaten despite being kids. I jest. I'm actually going, I've referred to, of course, Camp Cretaceous. I'm actually going through it right now because I've just been in the Jurassic mood, and it's like, well, I've seen these movies I don't know how many times. It's like I kind of want something new and different. It's like, I've never seen this Camp Cretaceous. Let's see how this is. It's good. It's solid. I like it so far. I'm only on like season 3, but it's like, yeah, this is good. This is good. I like this. Obviously, a little tamer, meant for kids. You have to, but it's fine. It's good. So, but yeah, it's like, the kids aren't going to die in this franchise. Now I will stand and applaud if they have the guts to kill a kid off in the next one. Because there's going to be a next one with how much money this movie's made already. If they like, because that's another reason why grew tired of the boyfriend character is that I thought he was there to be because they're teenagers, right? Because they're like 18 or something, right? The boyfriend and the eldest sister, it's like they're like late teens for sure, early 20s at the latest. Um, so it's like so that's how I thought they're going to get kind of do a tone setter is and get away with it is and that's why also why I kept waiting for something to happen to the boyfriend where it's like okay he jumps off the boat to save the girl and then they get back to shore and then the dad starts to kind of think oh you know what maybe you're not that bad and then he goes and he gets up to go to the bathroom and then he gets eaten by the mutodon and then like they find his severed head or something the next morning. um I really thought that's where they were going with that, and that would have again, it's like, okay, so we will kill off a youngish character in this movie. Not the little girl, obviously, but we will kill off a character we've kind of been starting to halfway redeem and make not as annoying. And it's going to be a good tone setter. It's like, yeah, no, you watch your back. Anyone could go at any time. I kind of thought that's what they were doing, but I was wrong on that. And so he just kind of stuck around and felt a little pointless by the end. But so yeah, I mean, I feel like overall this was it was safe. It was a safe movie, kind of return to form. We're gonna do a simple story of people stuck on an island getting chased by dinosaurs. And if you kind of expect more than that, I don't know really what to tell you. Because I'm seeing people that are calling this the best movie since the original. Like, I think in terms of spectacle, I think World does that better just because you have a whole theme park to run around in and there's more people running around. There's something about amping everything up to 11 in that sense that I really, really like. Um, Now, in terms of like cinematography and stuff, I think Rebirth may win out at times. And like in terms of mood and vibes, I think Gareth Edwards is definitely a better director than Colin Trevorrow in that sense. Because like the whole last act taking place at night, um, in the rundown operated by the generator like engine convenience store and stuff like all of that I thought was so moody and awesome. I was like, oh, this is great. I love this. Um, and just visually, I love the whole vibe of the movie. Like you start in the stark white almost Star Warsy genetics lab, almost alien. It's like they're actually, I feel like, and they did list the xenomorph as one of the inspirations for. It's like the xenomorph combined with the rancor. That's like the inspiration for the D-Rex. And so like yeah, like the super white pristine genetics lab. It was like a cross between something from Star Wars and Alien. Probably more Alien than anything. Um, so yeah, I really liked the vibes of that. I loved the kind of like I don't know what that Jeep truck thing was that Mr. Business Suit was driving around with the car alarm blaring at the end of the movie. But that thing looked awesome because it was like some sort of futuristic truck concept the engine probably had all over their sites. But it had the classic Jurassic Park Jeep coloring on it. Oh, that was cool. Is there a Lego set of that? I kind of want a Lego set of that. There's probably a Lego set of that. I might buy a Lego set of that. That thing looked cool. So the production design and the cinematography and stuff that stuff is probably better than Jurassic World. I'll give you that. But in terms of overall experience, it's like yeah, this is probably my third favorite, maybe. Lost World may be above this. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Lost World. I probably need to watch it again to reconsider. But in terms of, I don't know. I kind of feel like this is the Jurassic Park 3 of the World franchise, of the World era of the Jurassic franchise. But I think it's definitely better than Jurassic Park 3 because I feel like there's less stupid things that happened in this movie. Like all the characters, other than the boyfriend, who's just an absolute brain dead idiot, kind of brave as he may be. I kind of feel like there's less stupid decisions made in this movie, and there weren't really very many moments in this movie where I was going, oh, well, that's stupid, that's really dumb. Everything kind of the Now, I'm sure there are moments where people will go, what about this, or this? And I go, oh, that just kind of made me chuckle. Like the Snickers bar being what causes the entire engine facility to shut down because it gets caught in the system and the system shorts out when it tries to reboot. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. That made me chuckle. I think as far as the industrial accidents in the Jurassic Park movies go, I feel like that's about on par. I think that tracks. I think that makes sense. Um, this hermetically sealed lab shut down by a Snickers bar. I think that is if if Ian Malcolm ever learned or learns about what happened on this island and that it was shut down because of a Snickers bar, he'd probably be giddy because he's like, oh, that's chaos theory. Because yeah, it really kind of is. So I think that just really fit in the franchise. Like, yeah, no, that makes sense. It's like some people might call that really stupid and dumb, but nah, I think that tracks with a lot of other things that have happened in this franchise. Um, and like there's some people that have complained that it's like Jurassic Park would never be this blatant with its pandering to it's like all the corporate tie-ins and stuff. And I'm like, are we forgetting the Barbasol shaving cream can that Nedry used to house the embryos? That's pretty blatant. That's pretty obvious. It's like the whole beginning of Jurassic Park, the first half of it has product placement out the wazoo because there's obvious Jurassic Park Jeeps that say Jeep right on the front. It's like they name drop Hammond's name dropping all these things. It's like, oh, we spared no expense. It's like, we got so and so to record the commentary for the guided tour. And it's like, oh, it's an interactive CD-ROM and all this other stuff. And so it's like, no, the original has plenty of product placement in it as well. It's like you should have seen. It's like I saw this movie at the Alamo and Rebirth at the Alamo. And the one, if you've never been to an Alamo Draft House before, one of the things they do before the movies, if you get there early enough, right when the doors open, they have, but like before the main trailers start, they have like a curated, hey, here's like these random videos that like are connected to the thing you're watching. So like in the last year or so, I've for these big franchise movies like Transformers 1 or this or Thunderbolts, I've noticed that they've been doing a lot of or How to Train a Dragon. I've noticed that they've been doing a lot of toy commercials lately. So I'm sitting there before the movie starts and they're playing all of these Jurassic Park toy commercials before the 90s. It's like, come on, Jurassic Park has always been commercialized. Let's not kid ourselves here. A Snickers bar being what shut down and let the D-Rex out of its cage and caused the island to fall into chaos. No, that's totally something that would happen in a Jurassic Park movie. So yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think it's maybe my third or fourth favorite of the films. Which, when you start getting past Park and World and looking at some of the other options, that's really not saying much, depending on who you ask. But here's the thing: at a base level, I enjoy all these movies. Now, can I call some of these movies good? No, but I guess some of these really are kind of like I said, 3's not a good movie, but I don't mind watching it. I think they are all at least watchable. The only one that's like maybe in terms of watchability, the only one that's really maybe the worst is Dominion, just because it's because like when if you're because it doesn't really please anyone because at least with Fallen Kingdom you get a dinosaur movie throughout. It's just that is the movie too confused on where the dinosaur should be. But Dominion, it's torn between trying to be a dinosaur tax people movie and no, we're trying to be more thinky and say something about genetic experimentation and cloning and science fiction mumbo jumbo. And, more giant corporations are bad, said the movie made by a giant corporation. Uh, so it's like, so yeah, Dominion just really doesn't please anyone while trying to please everyone. Because I think it's trying to appease nerds of the lore and the original book and stuff, but then it's also trying to please the normies that are there just to see dinosaurs eat people. And so it just doesn't really please anyone. So on that front, Dominion's probably the worst of these. So yeah, like I said, Rebirth third or fourth on the list. Not bad. I would not like I said, I really enjoyed all these characters though. Um, I really enjoyed Claire and Owen and their dynamic in World. It got more grating as Fallen Kingdom and Dominion went by, because I think they had enough chemistry for World, but then it's like, them being broken up in between movies for Fallen Kingdom was a little annoying, but them kind of rekindling a romance, and like, okay, I buy it, whatever. But then in Dominion, it's like, I I guess I accept that they are a couple because the movie tells me they are a couple. But other than that, but it's funny because I liked both characters individually, but I didn't really like them together as a couple, which is funny. Um, but I never really saw any sparks between them after the end of Fallen Kingdom, and even then, that was kind of iffy. But for this movie, it's like, so Scarlett Johansson and Scarlett Johansson's character and Dr. Loomis, they're totally gonna get together, right? I'm okay with that. That seems like a good pairing to me. They had some chemistry, and they had, I think, plenty of chemistry to get people to write fan fiction about them, and yet they never even held hands. I don't even think there was never even really a overt. I say that I'm choosing my words carefully. A overt, these two characters are into each other moment. Because like the one moment you could say that, oh, Scarlett really fell for him here, is you could also say it's just she's going through a PTSD flashback of losing someone on a mission, and she doesn't want that to happen on her watch again, so she's relieved when she repels, it's when Loomis falls from the cliffside. So it's like, so when he lands in the water and he's okay, she's relieved that, she doesn't have to, that, it's like, okay, maybe I'm not a failure or something like that. But that's probably reading into it a little too much. I'm sure other people are going to go, oh, that's when she realized she loved him. And if that's the direction they move, I think I'm fine with that, because like I said, they've had good enough chemistry that they never even make a romantic move towards each other at all in this movie, other than maybe that moment that you could read into. And they had better chemistry than Owen and Claire in 2 out of their 3 appearances in these movies. So, and definitely more than Sam Neill and poor Sam Neill and Laura Dern in Dominion. That whole, they were supposed to get together in the first movie, or at least everyone thought so, but then we never went that direction with Jurassic Park 3, so now we're making up for lost time with Dominion. It's like, yeah, no, Dominion's the worst one by far. I don't know why I had to think about that. Thinking about more details of it now, oh yeah, it's the worst one. It's like, so when when Dr. Grant and Ellie finally kiss in the lab or whatever in Dominion, I'm just like, this should be heartwarming because they're finally together, but it just feels weird. It just feels forced. It's a not quite as bad Raylo kiss. That's what it felt like. A totally forced thing just because fans want it to happen. And I just don't think it works at all. Because Grant's kind of somewhat following Ellie around in this movie like a love-struck lost puppy dog. It's just weird. Yeah, that was, again, other than just the notion of like, ooh, these characters are back. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, the classic trio being back in Dominion didn't really do anything for me. So yeah, that's Jurassic Park. Excuse me, Jurassic World Rebirth, where we are not really rebirthing anything. It's just it's fine. It's like with these movies, I feel like other than the first one, you just need to go in with your brain turned off and enjoy people getting chomped on by dinosaurs. It's like, because that's what most of these movies are. There's a little bit of extra subtext and stuff in World that I think works. But it's just more retread ground from Park, but it's been 30 years. So things have changed. So retreading that ground worked for World. Like the whole, it's like Verizon Wireless presents Indominus Rex, and then and like this, they actually have that in the movie to hammer home the point. It's like, yes, this is wrong. We should not be accepting this. And then a Snickers bar shuts down another island. So it's like I love how for as imbued with product placement as this movie franchise is, it kind of like goes out of its way to demean and make fun of its own product placement. And I kind of enjoy that. I think that's why I think a lot of the product placement works. Like it's not like Transformers where it's like, okay, we'll give you access to this really expensive fancy car as long as it turns into one of the good guy robots. It's like, no, it's like these companies have to know that when you sign over the rights to allow a Jurassic movie to use your product, they're going to do something with it that is like not great. Like Verizon Wireless presents the Indominus Rex. Like people at Verizon had to sign off on that. I'm sure it's like, no, they're making fun of us, but we're fine with that. And like Snickers going, wait, so it's going to be the Snickers bar that causes the shutdown of this, and the guy that was eating so it's almost a circle of life thing. Man eats Snickers. Snickers causes door shutdown. Door shutdown causes security system shutdown. Security system shutdown lets out D-Rex. D-Rex eats man. Woman inherits the earth. It's like what woman screams over the title sequence. So it's like, people at Snickers had to okay that. So I do kind of like about all these movies is that they have product placements, but they're always like kind of negative to a degree. It's like it's negative against the own product they're advertising, which is kind of funny. So yeah. I'm wrapping up here. Last note. Anyone else think it weird that I guess moving forward, all these movies are going to start with like just the skeleton T-Rex logo and no titles. And that's the direction we're moving. Cause Dominion did that and I thought it was weird. It's like, huh, okay, whatever though. Cause the first movie opens with just the bong and, it's like, Steven Spielberg film, Universal Pictures presents Jurassic Park. And then it's like, shoot her. Then, you're on with the movie. Lost World, if I'm remembering correctly, is much the same. Then Jurassic Park 3 is a little cheesy. It's the main logo. And then it's like, oh, the three's being a tear because it's a monster. It's the dinosaur tearing the screen. And then, so that's a little cheesier. But then we kind of get back to what I like, the subtle, just like, here's the title. We're not going to really do anything fancy with it. It's like, just, what you're in for. Here it is, just Jurassic World. The Indominus is being born. But then with Fallen Kingdom, they do the whole logo when there's the lava and everything. And it's like, oh, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. Well, that's a great title, by the way. I don't think I've ever said that. But Fallen Kingdom is a great title for a Jurassic movie. So I just kind of wish it was attached to a better movie. And then with Dominion, we don't even get a title drop. We just get the skeleton T-Rex logo. And I remember sitting there in the theater going, oh, that was an interesting choice. And also it being an interesting choice because they cut out the whole opening with the Gigantosaurus or whatever, killing the T-Rex, and that being called back to at the end of the movie. But it was not, but then that scene that they're calling because with the eye. And so then that's what, and so at the end of the movie of Dominion, that's what they're referring back. They're referring back to a thing that we never saw in the first place, unless you watch that thing on the internet. Because then Rexy gets knocked out, and you think maybe she's dead, and then oh no, she was just stunned. She's alive, and so it's like aha, the T-Rex is here for round 2. She's getting her revenge 65 million years later against the Gigantosaurus. But the salad fingers dinosaur had to help her out. I don't know, the dinosaur with the long nails. I can't remember what it's called. And then they're gonna roar in the darkness when the Gigantosaurus accidentally stumbles into the giant knife fingers. And so Dominion is so bad. When it's bad, it's bad. Like I said, I like the cloning aspect of it, but boy, when that movie's bad, it's bad. And so yeah, that movie opened with that having cut that whole scene, and that was supposed to be at the beginning of the movie. And Trevor Rose talked about how that was supposed to be at the beginning of the movie, but then I guess Universal wanted it cut for timing. So then the ending of the movie references something that's not even in the final movie. Great job, editors. Great job, Universal. Yeah, I think Dominion was kind of messed with by the suits, but anyway, maybe a COVID casualty or something. I don't know. But and so yeah, and then it just opens with the weird T-Rex skeleton logo, and doesn't even say Jurassic World Dominion or anything. It's just like, here's the T-Rex logo. You know what this is. And I'm like, okay, that was a choice. That was weird. And then now Rebirth opens the same way with the T-Rex logo, but then there's like the red burning of the emergency lights as you hear the lady scream or whatever. And so are all these movies going to open this way going forward? That's kind of weird. It kind of makes it feel like a serialized thing though. So it's like, I don't know, maybe I could see that working. It's like, I could see that working if they went back and re-edited all the other movies to include that in the beginning of each movie, but I don't think they're going to do that. It's kind of like, I'm wrapping up, I promise. Thank you for listening this far if you have, but it's kind of like how I get annoyed when, not that these are really a thing anymore because streaming's a thing, but it's like, does anyone remember really cool DVD and Blu-ray menus? Does anyone remember those? Because I do, and I miss them. I miss them so much. Some of my favorites, the DVD menus to Pirates of the Caribbean, the Blu-ray menus to Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, and 3. Because Blu-rays were brand new, and so they put these really cool menus on there of a skeleton like greeting you to the main menu and warning you against the dangers that would befall you if you hit play on the movie. So when those movies came out on Blu-ray, like Curse the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, they all had that menu. And so it made the trilogy feel unified, and like, it's like it's one product, it's one story being told over 3 entries. Then on Stranger Tides came out in 2011, and they didn't do that for the menu. It was just the spinning of the map to the Fountain of Youth, which was cool, but it doesn't match up, and it's like, okay. And then late, and it's like, another franchise that ended up doing something similar is Star Wars, where it's like, if anyone has nostalgia for this, I'm sure you're out there if you're listening to this. The DVD menus where it would open up with saying Star Wars, and you'd be seeing different scenes of the movie in the Star Wars logo, and then there'd be the lightsaber sound effect, and then like whatever number episode you're watching would flash up. And then it would say the title, like, The Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, whatever. And then for each time you loaded in the DVD, then you'd be sent to a different planet or location or whatever from the movie. And then it's like, you'd have play, scene selection, bonus features, options, etc. And then you'd hit play on the movie. And then it would have like different intros and outros for, and transitions into the movie. And those were really, really cool and really, really dope. So then the newer movies start coming out from Disney, and the main menus are just kind of simple and boring. It's like they didn't do anything cool like that. It's like, I really, really miss the cool unified DVD, because for a while, it was episodes 1 through 6, and that was the Star Wars saga long before anyone thought that Disney would buy the franchise and we would have 7 through 9 and then Solo and Rogue One and all this other stuff. So it's like, so for a while, it's like, yeah, it was really cool that all those things were unified. And so it's like, so that's why I'm so, I feel like it's so weird to suddenly change up the opening to a Jurassic movie by just having the T-Rex skeleton logo flash by on the screen. And it's like, okay, so we did that for Dominion and Rebirth. Is the next one going to do that too? What if it doesn't? So then if the next one doesn't do that, then it's just going to be like a weird, hey, remember when these movies opened this thing for literally 2 movies and they dropped it and never talked about it again? Yeah, that was weird. So maybe I'm just being a super nerd about all this stuff. It's like, these are things that no one has ever thought of before except me, because I'm weird. But so I just like the presentation of things. It's like when you've got a series of movies that have been running as long as this, it's like at least the numbered Star Wars episodes all open with the opening crawl. Because imagine if episode 7 started and it didn't have an opening crawl. I think people would have rioted, actually. So yeah, it's like, just open the movies the same way. It's all in the same series. But anyway, it's like, it doesn't really matter. That's just a weird nerdy nitpick thing of mine. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth. It was good. It was fine. It's like, and yeah, it was totally serviceable. It's not the worst movie in the world, like I know some people are saying it is. But it's also not great either. It's like, yeah, it's totally serviceable. I was not upset that I spent however much money to go sit in the theater and have a pizza, and watch this in a theater with surround sound and everything. It's like, I think I got my money's worth. So I was satisfied with it, but it is not going on my top 10 movies of all time list. So yeah, that is Jurassic World Rebirth. So I will be back again soon with another one of these movie reviews, because we are in the thick of movie season right now, and another John Williams property coming up here in terms of music coming up soon. We got James Gunn's Superman. So we'll see how that turns out, and I'll be back with a review of that one soon as well. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.